Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to use our factor knowledge to help us break down other numbers to make larger calculations easier to do. So, if we were to take the calculation 28 multiplied by 12, we can break that calculation down into its factors to make it easier for us to work out. So, let's start with the number that we possibly break down. So, I personally would break down the 12, and the 12 would break down into factors of 6 and 2. And as you noticed, I've combined it as a calculation together. And then we would just bring the 28 back down here to make a longer, although easier, sum to complete. Now what we can do is we can use our mental strategies to make this sum easier to work out. So, I'm not going to go ahead and try and do the whole sum on my own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down into a smaller step. So 28 multiplied by 6 is far more manageable than doing 28 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 2. So to do 28 multiplied by 6, I would do my 20 multiplied by 6, which will equal 120. And then I will do 8 multiplied by 6, which equals 48. And then I would add those two together. 8, 6, 1. So that is the answer to the first part of the sum. Now what I need to do is I need to take my answer here and I need to multiply that by the 2. So I now have my new sum, which is 168 multiplied by 2, which is rather simple to do. So all I have to do now is simply double each digit. So 8 doubled equals 16, 60 doubled equals 120, and then 100 doubled equals 200. And then I simply add these together, 6, 3, and 3. So my answer finally will be 336. So now let's look at another example and see if it works out just the same. So here we have 18 multiplied by 15. And as it looks now, it looks like a rather complicated sum to work out. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our knowledge of factors and we're going to break down one of these numbers into factors. Now, you could choose either 18 or 15. So I could break the 15 down into factors of, say, 5 and 3. Or I could choose the 18 and break it down into factors of, say, 3 and 6, which could be easy to do. So that's the way I'm going to go. I'm constantly trying to make my job as easy as possible. So what I'm going to do is I am going to break down the 18. So I'm going to break down the 18 into factors of 3 and 6. And again, we need to drop down the 15. Now with our new sum, we have 3 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 15. And as we know, what's good about multiplication sums and addition sums is it doesn't matter what order we do it in, we will always get the same answer. So I can rearrange this sum exactly how I want to do it. So I personally would rather do 15 multiplied by 6 and then multiply it by 3. And as before, I'm not going to do it all as one. I will break it down into easier steps. So I will do 15 multiplied by 6 and then my answer will be multiplied by the 3 at the end. So now we have our calculation. We have 15 multiplied by 6, and then as I said before, we are then going to multiply the answer we get from here by 3 to produce our final answer here. So 15 multiplied by 6, I'm going to do 10 times 6, which equals 60, and then I'm going to do 5 times 6, which equals 30, and then add these two together. So 0 add 0 equals 0, and 3 add 6, or 30 add 60 equals 90 altogether to give me an answer. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to have to multiply my answer 90 by the 3 up here. So now the new sum that we've got is 90 multiplied by 3. And nice and simply, how I'm going to do that in my head mentally is I'm going to do 9 times 3, which equals 27, and then I'm going to multiply that by 10 to make sure it's 90, not 9, multiplied by 3. So the overall answer, I apologise, will be 270.